Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Dodgeball Podcast. In this episode, I'm happy to bring back Rob Hometown Immel. Some of you might recognize him or remember him from the fact that he's been playing dodgeball as long as, if not longer than myself. But he was also on the second episode of this podcast and also still the reigning champion in terms of plays. I think when I last looked, man, you're like up in the 700s, so you must have done some really awesome promoting for me, so I appreciate that. But welcome back, man.
Thanks. Glad to be back.
So I know, and it's so crazy how much has passed time-wise, event-wise, and all this other stuff. And we barely, if not briefly, mentioned this big event coming up in August, right? And before I even butcher it, because I'm not too familiar with it, can you just go ahead and let me know what's coming up next weekend?
Yeah, next weekend. Wow, it's crazy to I feel like it's already here. Next weekend, heading to New York City for the second Dodgeball World Cup. It's held in New York City. Friday, preliminary games are at a place called Basketball City, and then Saturday, the final rounds are at Madison Square Garden at Hulu Theater, which is very, very exciting.
Oh, nice. Okay, so that already kind of cleared up one question I had, because I've been trying to follow this a little bit of ways, and one of the reasons why I wanted to bring you on was just so we can talk about it in depth, because again, when we touched on this was back in like November, December time frame, which in dodgeball time is like, that might as well have been 5 years ago.
Sure.
So it's WDA, right? It's the World Dodgeball Association.
Yeah, it's the World Dodgeball Association. They put on a World Cup every 2 years. The first one was back in April 2016 in Manchester, England. That was a great experience. I was happy and proud to be there, and even more excited to be invited back and made the team this year for the second World Cup.
Huh. Okay, so this is done every 2 years then?
Yep, every 2 years. Okay.
I was wondering why I didn't remember anything last year, and I was like, wow, I guess time really flew by. Is there a reason why there's a two-year span or a 1 year gap in between events?
I'm sure that there is. The WDA is founded in England, and it's kind of modeled after. It seems very similar to the Soccer World Cup, which is every 4 years.
Right.
They pick the rounds the same, and they have like challenge matches, and the host country gets an automatic bid, and it's very, very strict format. So I think they're just doing it every 2 years, just kind of set the standard and set the format that way. So teams and countries have that year in between to qualify for the World Cup.
Okay, so is that what you were doing last year then? Were you part of that qualifying, or was it the US Dodgeball that was doing it? Like
luckily, America is the host, so we get an automatic bid.
Oh, that's what you mean, okay.
Host country's automatic bid, but there was still an America's Cup held in Washington, D.C. this past year. Okay. That's how Canada got in. So we were automatically bid. Canada played against us. We beat them. But since we were already in, they got a bid into the World Cup as well.
I see. And how long has – so many questions are coming up, which is great for me.
And that's okay. Hopefully I can answer a few of them.
All of them, I expect 100% answers. I don't want to have to ask somebody else after this episode.
All right.
So.
All right. Do my best.
Yeah, for sure. So let's talk about the WDA first. So it's the World Dodgeball Association. What is it, and how long has it been around? And can you speak to that?
I wish I knew more. I knew that you were going to ask me a lot of these questions, and I don't know a ton about the WDA. What I do know about them is my experience with them in Manchester, and also throughout the last 2 years going into this World Cup. They're super professional, and I know that one of the main guys in charge, Tom Dixon, super great guy, loves the sport, does everything he can, travels everywhere to promote the sport in countries that don't even play dodgeball, to give them opportunities to play. And I know he has close ties to the IOC, the International Olympic Committee. I know his main goal, as is every dodgeballer out there, is to get it in the Olympics. But his hands are pretty close to that, and his affiliations with the World Dodgeball Association and all these other companies and things that are closely knit to Olympics, his whole focus is getting dodgeball in the Olympics. I just love that. So everything that he does and every tournament that they have is super official. It's very, very well done. And I respect him for that. And what I've seen so far from World Dodgeball is a global picture of it, and I definitely appreciate that and respect that.
Gotcha. What was this individual's name again? Tom
Hickson. Yep.
Tom Hickson. Okay. So
He's from England.
so he's like the go-to for anything WDA related, right?
Yeah, him and Mark Croston. Mark Croston's the chair. Tom Hickson is the president. Tom's like the face of World Dodgeball Association. Like he hosts all the the pool play draw, and he's in different countries for different cups and try to qualify for the World Cup and all that.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So I mean, I made that joke about having to reference some stuff earlier, but I might as well just get on it. Because I do want to find out like how long they've been around, when they came from, what countries are involved. Just from your experience last or 2 years ago at Manchester, can you give me like a ballpark estimate of how many countries participated that you can recall?
Yeah, I think right now 62 countries are involved. He's hoping, I think, to have 70 different nations involved.
Holy crap.
Yeah, but so it's global. It's a global picture, you know.
Is this
so it's exciting, you know. They want to achieve something straightforward, you know. They want more players, more places to play, and dodgeball to be seen. Which globally, that's all we want. That's all every dodgeballer wants: is more people to play, more people to play against, more times and opportunities to watch it. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, you kind of mentioned earlier where, you know, a lot of people's end game, like their ultimate vision of when dodgeball's made it is I'm playing in the Olympics, or dodgeball's been adopted into the Olympics. So that's a huge, like a spiritual, emotional, psychological win for almost anyone that plays dodgeball competitively.
Sure. And I'm sure, you know, what, 13, 14, 15 years ago when you and I started, we wanted that, but now I'm thinking about hoping my kids get a chance to play in the Olympics, you know?
Oh yeah, no, I was sold the Hanes underwear commercial. Once that happens, like, all right, you know what? I'm done. I could retire now. Dodgeball's made its mark. That was always the fantasy, was just playing on a world stage with the Team USA, but having it being taken as seriously as the other sports.
Yeah, right? It's not, I mean, not to make a sidebar or whatever, but that's what you hear, right? Aside from the movie quotes and everything stupid, like people ask, how come it's not in the Olympics? I'd rather see that than half the events in there, you know? So I don't know. They're, like I said, they're partnered up with the IOC and, you know, the GAISF, and their eyes are on dodgeball through the World Dodgeball Association. Gotcha.
Yeah. And 70 countries or shoot, even 50 and above. That's pretty.
Yeah, and this guy's going to different countries. He's hosting the Africa Cup and just getting Egypt to host a tournament and stuff like that, and it's pretty incredible to see.
I'll say. Well, before I dive further into it, because again, there's just more questions popping up than what I had initially written down. But I just wanted to ask real quick, and I meant to earlier. What have you been up to this whole time since we last spoke in November?
Well, I don't know. It seems like a while ago. It really wasn't, huh? My focus has been primarily on this World Cup. I've been playing and training specifically with this World Cup in mind, just playing strictly with the cloth ball, which I'm rubber through and through. You know, rubber ball is dodgeball to me, but being introduced to this style game and this style ball, I knew that I wanted to represent in New York and at the second World Cup. So I've just been training with that cloth ball, with the WDA style, and helping others do the same thing. Just doing my same thing, but just focused on World Cup. I think that, you know, of all the tournaments I've done and world record attempts and all that stuff, like I'm actually like training. I feel like this is like maybe my last hurrah or whatever. I'm not, it's not like Rocky IV. I'm not like in the, you know, the Russian mountains or anything like that, but it's definitely a goal, and it's crazy that it's here already. But since November, I just been playing as much dodgeball as I can and that style and that ball.
Yeah, since our interview, I don't know if it's one of those like psychological things where you just talked about it, so that's all you see. But I swear to God, I saw more lyric Fridays. I saw more references to the record that you set, and then just more dodgeball happening on your side of the country. And I was like, that's awesome. He's still getting after it. And I think we made some kind of like unofficial but official pact where none of us can retire until we both do. So this may be your quote unquote last hurrah, but it's not. If I recall, there's like
I'll always play dodgeball. I'll always play it. But as far as, you know, traveling to Germany or England or anything like that, I mean, who knows? Right. I hope that like I said last time, like I'm 36 now. The next World Cup, I'll be 38. I hope that I'm not good enough to make the team. I hope that some younger talent is there and they take my spot. And if I can lend some advice or something like that, be part of it, cool. But as far as playing, who knows?
Right. Yeah, I also was gonna say, I mean, Rocky's got like 4 other movies after 4, so
That's right.
there's Rocky 6 where he's like 60 and he's still fighting. So I mean, there's that's the last straw, I think. But
all right, you keep me going, Steve.
yeah, I mean it's mutual. Trust me. I've had my moments of doubt where I'm like, man, this hurts a lot more than it used to. How much longer can I keep doing this? And then look over and I see you. I'm like, all right, I'm good. Goes with Jim and Serge and all the other old guys that I run into. But so you mentioned Outcast, right? The Germany tournament that we talked about, that hasn't happened yet, or did that take place?
No, they actually moved that. It was supposed to be this weekend, but when the World Cup took place and they made their schedule, they moved it to the week after.
Gotcha. So you have a guest here. What's up? This is Talon, right?
Yeah, this is Revin, my youngest son. He just, I must have woke him up or something.
Oh.
Say hi, buddy.
Hi.
Hey, what's
All right.
up? He's like, who's this guy wearing that weird Star Wars shirt talking to my dad?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're keeping that, just so you know.
That's perfect.
But you're saying so that they rescheduled the Germany
Yeah,
tournament.
so the dodgeball beach cup in Germany is going to be the 11th, that weekend there.
Okay. Are you going
And
to
it's
that?
crazy. Like I see all the Instagram posts, and I can't even understand what they're saying because most of it's in German, but I still love it. And that was so much fun. Like I'm like, dang, I want to go.
Right.
I want to go back.
So was it one or the other for you then? The World Cup or this Germany tournament, or?
Yeah. Even though it's in my home state and it's in our country, it's still pricey to get out there. It still takes a lot of time, and I'm not doing both, but maybe next year.
Fair enough. Cool. Well, so let's just back it up a little bit. Go back to WDA. So you have the World Dodgeball Association, and then you have your respective chapters that are the countries, right? I'm assuming that's how it works out. And then so for the U.S., you have US Dodgeball, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And when did that form? And we could dig into that a lot deeper in the future episodes, but just to get an idea of like how this came to be.
It was I don't know when behind the scenes talk was. It was brought to my attention probably less than a year before England. Talks of possibly doing this World Cup thing.
So 2015 maybe?
Yeah, maybe 2015.
Okay.
I would say. And then here we are now. And then this year, this team is, in my opinion, and I don't mind offending anybody, a lot better than the one we had 2 years ago. Less time to prepare for the World Cup in Manchester. Now we know what to expect a little bit. It's still tough because half our team is in the other side of the country.
Right.
Not like a small country where we can just drive 3 hours and everybody meet together for a weekend and play. I'm meeting my teammates for the first time at the World Cup, but we still had more time to talk. We still had time to prepare, and I think we have a pretty solid squad.
Yeah, it's cool seeing the profiles popping up on my feed. I'm like, oh, I know that person. Oh, I know her. I know him. I know her, etc. And it definitely looks like a pretty good lineup. How were the teams players selected? Were there tryouts, or what was the process for that?
Yeah, there were multiple tryouts throughout the country. There were 2 here on the east. There was 2 out west, and then I think there was 2 in the Midwest. And you could also send in a video for a tryout, because I think that they understand that people just can't get out to, Maryland or Seattle or whatever.
Right.
I think a lot more people sent applications in than expected. I think that I think there's a lot more names that people would be surprised that people actually wanted to try out. But I don't know who the selection committee is. I don't even know. I wouldn't want their job. I don't know who they are. I don't want to know. But I think they selected a pretty good team from the applicants.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how that went down. Was there any restrictions And again, this could be one of those questions where we'll have to just discuss in the other episode if you want. But I was just curious, like, were there any, like, you cannot play within a certain organization, or you have to be a part of this, or you kind of know what I'm getting at with that question?
Yeah, no, not to my knowledge. And I think that the majority of the applicant pool play there now, and you can't say that you're not going to accept an application from somebody if they play a certain organization, because that's the only organization there is to play dodgeball. Right. You know what I'm getting at? Like, if you play dodgeball in America, you cannot try out for the American team. That doesn't make any sense. So no, not to my knowledge, there was any kind of block in any of that. And we have the majority of our players play in those tournaments throughout the year here in this country.
For sure. And I almost say like that's a teaser or build up, but we'll definitely talk about that way more in depth in the post recap episode. But I was just curious to try to get an idea of the tryout process, because I know that was an issue of contention a couple years ago.
No, and I think that I think it was too. Ignorantly, but I think that the World Dodgeball Association wouldn't appreciate that either. You know, if they found out that America was only holding a small percentage of the applicants available to be chosen, then what are we doing here? You know,
that's actually a good point.
And also too, I don't want to play in a team with people that are second, third better than somebody else. I want the best to play with. And if someone's better than me, great, go represent and go kick.
Yeah, for sure. And it's funny you mentioned that, because like all politics, all blah aside that we'll get into again later on, it's you want Team USA to win, so whoever we send better be good and they better dominate, just because on a very basic level of dodgeball support, we want Team USA to win. Obviously, like, we don't want to see you guys lose.
And I could handpick my dream team right now, but unfortunately, some of those people decide not to try out, and that's okay. That's their decision, you know. And ultimately, too, it's not just US Dodgeball. Like WDA has the whole say. You know, and it's crazy the little amount of influence US Dodgeball has on this World Cup, even though it's in our backyard. US Dodgeball is in charge of nothing.
Yeah, so earlier I said that's a good point. I didn't realize that there's obviously a higher governing entity that's in control of all of this. So if any chapter is doing, you know, not ideal or real or optimistic practices, they can probably, you know, squash that pretty fast. So that definitely changes the way I looked at it just now.
That's the dad of the whole thing is WDA, and they want it run smoothly and perfectly because they don't want any hiccups, because when the International Olympic Committee looks at it and says, what are you talking about? This guy played for America. He was born in Canada.
Like, what's going on there?
You know, so they control everything.
That's very cool. So back to what you're saying about how this is very professionally run. It's very organized. Like, that's kind of what you're getting at. This is a serious attempt, probably the best one we may have, to actually seeing dodgeball in the Olympics. So they're going to make sure that this actually goes as smooth as possible, and all petty practices, regardless of what country it is, like, you're going to get the best, and you're going to have the checks and balances that you would expect from any other governing entity out there.
Right.
Awesome. Well, let's talk about the ball style, because I thought I remembered rubber was an option. Was that true last 2 years ago for 2016?
No, I wish. I wish. Oh, I wish. Jeez, I think of that team we had in Manchester, and I would love for it to be rubber. But no, we went there kind of blind, because I found two balls we could practice with. Some of the people on my team, their first time feeling that ball, throwing that ball, was at the World Cup, and that definitely changed. I like the ball. Like I said, I'm rubber. My heart's rubber, but it's fun to play with. It's a little smaller, it's a little different. I like it, and that's the same thing too. Like, WDA needed to standardize like a ball. They needed to say, okay, this is the dodgeball. So they kind of took this rubber with foam covering cloth covered ball and made a dodgeball. So there's a standard now.
Nice. Yeah, I if it's all there is, I'll adopt cloth. I'm very like I'll give in to no sting. I'm still warming up to foam, but like cloth is like no. Like I'll start fighting before I have to use cloth. But
dude, I'm that way with foam. I can't even like say that word in my house.
Yeah. It's just, it feels like a swear word. Like I'm gonna go play foam right now.
But no, it's different. And even like, you know, I'm going crazy. I'm talking to the coach for the US team, and I'm begging for balls. Like we have foam balls or cloth balls, and I ordered a bunch, and we practiced with the Dodge Hub balls. But I want the actual ball we're playing with, because even the screen print on the ball makes a difference of how you can grip it, how you can throw it. And to me, I don't have the biggest hands, and I think from pictures, like the New York World Cup ball has more print and more, to me, more grip. So I'm dying to get some. I see like Austria has some, Australia has some. We're the host country, we don't have any. But I'm excited to get there and get my hands on some.
And so it's the cloth balls. Is it 6-on-6, or what's the makeup of a team?
Yeah, it's 6-on-6. It's basically what you know is dodgeball and what everybody plays here. It's 7-inch cloth ball. It's 5 balls, 6 players, and similar court to what everyone's used to.
Gotcha. Yeah, I really was always a fan of the oddball makeup, especially when I ran.
So nice.
Yeah, it's so much easier. One team will always have the burden. It's never in question, and it's just easier to track.
One crazy rule that kind of caught us offhand is that if you have majority of the balls, you get a play ball call. So let's say there's 3 of us on a team, and we have 3 balls. We have majority of balls. We all have them. They call play ball. They have 5-second in their head count. We have to get rid of all balls but 1. If we don't, whoever's holding the ball or ball at their feet, they're out. Wow. So this game is fast. It's quick. It's not like you're taking a ball, you're holding it to your mouth, talking to your teammate about what you're going to do. It has to be immediate. That's crazy. I love that style, because to me that's dodgeball. It's back and forth. It's not chess. It's just quick.
Yeah, that's interesting, because even with Elite, it's the countdown feels like, wow, we just got the ball. Like I just made it across the court to talk to my guy now. Like now I have to throw. So I can't even imagine.
In WDA, you're not going across the court to talk to anybody. Wow. You literally are not putting the ball up to your face so they can't see you talk. Like it has to be signals. It has to be quick call, and it's quick counter game.
So signals.
And a lot of people don't want that play ball call. So if they have majority, they'll get rid of it. Like they'll get rid of it, and it can't just be roll to the other side. If I throw a ball at you and I miss you by a meter, is that English? I miss you by a meter, I'm out. It has to be a valid attempt. So like we had guys not used to the cloth ball, guys that can chuck the ball real well, and it'd slip out of their hands, go up to the 3rd row, they'd be out because it wasn't a valid attempt.
Oh man, that's rough.
So it's quick, it's real dodgeball, and it's fun. And I think that's kind of why, I've kind of like gone all in with this, is because I think it's my style. Listen, if they played this style with rubber, oh man, it'd be the best. But I can adapt to that cloth ball, because this fast style to me is what I like to play.
Yeah, you're saying that. What were your words? Like this style fits me perfectly. Like you said, almost verbatim. And I was thinking about running gun. That is like the most fun, instinctual, like bring back the good old open gym 40-on-40 days where it's just right. You do something cool and epic fail or epic success. It's still fun. Yeah, and just watch your survivability rate drop or increase with the amount of adrenaline and cool stuff you do. Like right, and I think that's dodgeball. I think that is automatic reactionary. Don't let your brain think. That's the best team will win. The best dodgeballers will win, because to me, that's what it is. I'm at my best when that happens. If I do anything cool, it's because I did not think about it. It's when I think about it. Right. Yeah, it's when I think about it that I do like the dumbest things, and it's just so sad to watch and sad to experience, because like that would normally not get me out, but I had to think about it. So now I'm walking to the queue because I had.
Can you please make a T-shirt for your podcast? If I do anything cool, it's because I didn't think about it.
Exactly. I might actually. I'm looking at some T-shirt designs for the podcast actually. So I think I'll just make that for myself and I'll send you one.
Perfect.
Yeah. Man, if you can just look inside my brain when something cool happens, it's because there's nothing going on. It just
goes down.
It's just still. And I love that. That's why I still play dodgeball. It's those few moments when I actually get that type of in the zone high or however you want to call it. Like I can't get that anywhere else. So that's what's kept me playing dodgeball for so long.
Yeah, and certain countries have mastered that style, and are also able to talk and communicate quickly, and they're trained that way, and that's why they're successful. Just like with elite tournaments, you know what you have to do to win. I played in like an elite style tournament, and some people there were like, "You didn't get the cadence." And I'm like, "There's cadence in this game? Like yeah. What?" But yeah, so some of the good world teams, they have it down. They practice it and they play very well.
I wonder if they get on that level of synergy and teamwork where, okay, we have 4 balls. I know Rob's going to throw at this guy, so I'm going to help. Or we're going to both rush this person, and I'm going to go high, and he's going to go low. And you just know that from these little subtle cues that you pick up on.
Yeah, definitely. And we're sitting there talking about it, and all I can see is white and red and Team England. And that's what they do. They play well together, and they play together very well. My guy's here, Cushing knows if he sees me step a certain way, he knows where I'm going, how I'm throwing, and where I'm throwing, and he's right behind me. It just works. And we look at film, and it's just like, holy how do all 3 balls just go there at the exact same time we even talk?
Yep.
That's how good countries play.
Yeah, I've had similar experiences like that with back in the day with Team Evil when we played leagues, because they would record our games, and you'd see instances where like me and Chris Bell or this guy Ben Snyder, who doesn't play in Elite unfortunately, we'd be just on sync, and we would just know exactly who's going to do what. And that is, again, going back to the whole like no mind thing. Like that's when you know you've got a solid teammate. Yeah. Do that times 6, and man, you could be pretty scary. And that's how England won the first World Cup. They just had it. They were all in shape. They're all like 6 foot, 180 pounds, super quick. And we had a mix of like an awesome rubber team, but we have big guys. Our style, like, give the big guys the guns that like the ball, take care of it. Now, the big guys, now they're dragging. But this year, hopefully, we're a little more prepared. I think we have a good team. And hopefully we'll give those teams like England and Malaysia a little run this year, I hope so. Yeah, big guys like Kevin Pack and Brandon Cook, I think. Those are some of the guys that I remember seeing.
Pack, Granfers.
Are they coming back?
Cook and Granfers are on the men's team, and I think Pack is on the mixed team. So, yeah, they're coming back.
Nice. Very cool.
Yeah, and Cook, Cook emailed me. He's excited. I think he learned a lot from the last World Cup, and he's been training a little differently. And his mindset is pretty clear, and he's excited. And I'm excited to see him play. I wish I could, travel all the way across the country to play with him more often, but it'd be good to see him next week.
Yeah, no, that's gonna be good. So let's go back to 2016. That was the first World Cup.
Yeah.
Okay. And England took it. So how did you guys place, if you don't mind me asking?
We finished 7th.
7th? Okay.
A very disappointing 7th. We had some tough games. I think we beat everybody except for England in the second half. You played 2 15-minute halves, and we'd get down, we'd regroup a little bit, and we learned every game. Like every game we played, we just played better and better, but we just weren't winning as much as we wanted to. That style I like a lot. I like playing one team for half an hour. You play 15 minutes, take a 5-minute halftime, switch sides, and keep playing as many 3-minute games as you can. It was fun. Obviously, we didn't do well. We had an odd team, like I said, and I think that people, since it was the World Cup, the first one, people wanted, like, listen, I flew to England. I want to play.
Right.
But since I was announced the captain of Team USA, they're emailing me and they're saying, like, listen, if you think I'm not playing well, sit me down. I'm happy to be there. I'm happy to support you and the team as much as I can, however I can. I love that.
Good.
That tells me people are all in, and we're going to have the people who can play the best and help us the most on the court. So we're hoping to do a lot better than we did 2 years ago.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's weird to think that maybe sometimes your best contribution could be taking yourself out of the equation because you're having a bad day or you're just not functioning.
Happens to me. I joke about it. Like I sometimes feel like I need to get hit once to start playing better.
To wake up.
You know, like reach for a catch like an idiot and then start playing better. Like I almost just peg me the first game. Let me get out and then let me start my run, you know?
Yeah, that's got to be your strategy is just from the first game, just stand out there, hands down.
Just walk the line, sacrifice.
Just do it. Take the shot. Like, no, don't hit him. He wants that. That's what's going to wake him up. Don't do it.
That's right.
Yeah, so what I was kind of getting at earlier with like the build up and the placing of last World Cup and Team England, do other countries have like an opportunity to get to play with each other and have a strategy and have practices, or does everybody kind of follow the same format that USA is following?
Unfortunately, I think that we're the only nation that has this issue. I don't know if it's because people. Like I know Team Canada is kind of centrally located. You know, Canada's big, but I think they're from one type of area, so they play together. You know, England's not so huge, but you know, through social media, thankfully, we can see things that are going on. Like Malaysia, they're together all the time. It seems like England, they're doing tournaments all throughout the year together. So I think, yeah, literally every country except for us plays throughout the year together as a team. Malaysia, Australia, they're already here. They're in New York. They're in New York already.
Man.
I'm not even in New York, and I live 3.5 hours away.
They're probably practicing right now as we speak.
Yeah, I guarantee they are. I guarantee they got gym time somewhere. You know, they're also the countries that, you know, they want to trade jerseys with me. Well, listen, I paid good money for my jersey. They're opening it up because government bought these jerseys for them. I don't even, yeah, what size do you want? Like all these boxes of brand new jerseys.
That's amazing. Yeah, that was another question too. Is are we? It feels like we're last to this. It feels like USA Dodgeball and just in general is late to the international scene because you have countries that are government sponsored now. You have countries that have been playing for a long time. You have countries that understand the rule set, the dynamic, and all this other stuff. Do you feel that way too, or is that just me?
Oh, 100%. And I think the main question or the main reason for that is just the whole country's perception of our sport. You know, every time I went over to England or Germany, like the sport was held on a different level.
Yeah, that's what you're saying.
They're not talking about the movie. They're not talking about gym class. Like these guys are respected athletes, and they have respected teams. So I think that we're late to the game because of our overall perception. Not you and I, but the layperson, the normal person, if you will. The perception of dodgeball is not like it is in other countries. You know, you make it the Egypt team. You walk around your town and you say, "Oh, you made a national team. You're going to go to New York, America, and play dodgeball. Congratulations!" They hold it to a higher regard. You and I, it's like, oh, cool, have fun. Isn't that what you always do every weekend? You just play dodgeball.
Yeah,
you know?
It's like, oh, knife to the heart, man. Jeez, like.
So I think that I think it's just our overall thing, good or bad. You know what I mean? It's just I wish it was different, but it's not. We have other sports that people pay attention to.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, like, why do you think that is? Because you're right. And I hate to even admit this, but like next weekend's gonna happen. It's gonna be the most important game of many of Team USA's lives, but you know, to the layperson, it's just another weekend. That's it.
Flash in the pan. That's all it is. Yeah.
Yep.
You know, I have a call from a reporter from the New York Post, and I guarantee she's going to quote the movie.
Oh God.
No, and I like. It's been 14 years. Get over it. But
yep.
Like I said, other countries are already here. They're here 8 days in advance. We couldn't do that. People have lives, and if I went to my boss, luckily I have the summers off, but went to my boss and said, "Oh, I need a week off. I'm going to go play in an international tournament," they'd be like, "You're fired."
Just right away. Okay, you're fired. Like no.
Have fun. Good luck. You're fired.
Yeah.
But like Malaysia, I watched their video. They had a huge send off at the airport.
Oh my gosh.
You know, and they're all in their gear, and it's just like, good luck, bring home the gold. And it's like, man, can I get like dual citizenship or something?
So can I just get like a discount on my Uber or something? Like just Team USA here, guys. Come on, man. Yeah, I really wonder what's gonna change that. And I've had my theories, and I think some of the best ones came from when I talked to Eric Tillmans, just about the perception of the sport and how we need to tell a story through the teams and the players, and I can get into that at some other time. But just overall, like it really. It's one of those things that still stings. Like, yeah, I'll tell somebody like, yeah, I play dodgeball, and they're like, oh, I like the movie. And granted, that does happen less and less, and a lot of it kind of transitions to, oh, that's cool. Like, where do you play, or, you know, is it like whatever? So that is getting better. But what I guess what like the counterpunch for me now is, you know, I'm working out in the gym this week, and I'm watching cornhole tournament.
Yeah,
and
with a drink in their hand.
Yeah, and it's like there's an audience there, and they're talking about like strategy, and they have like commentators. I'm just like, you gotta be freaking kidding me! Like I was already like, I'm still not over the fact that I watched the 2007 Yo-Yo Championships on ESPN2 in 2009. Like I'm not over that.
That was a good year. That was a great year. Okay. That walk the dog at the end killed it.
Oh gosh, I just, oh man,
It's where we are. It's a new thing, and it is crazy to you and I, and even the person walking down the street, that dodgeball's not on TV or in the Olympics. But I mean, here we are, and all we can do is just hope and just keep plugging on. And I think that's why, again, I kind of went all in with the WDA, and I think their mission is great, and I think they're doing great things.
Yeah, I've seen some clips of I guess it has to have been 2016, or maybe like a local tournament from, I think, Team England, and it looked like a pretty stellar sports production to me. I mean, I saw like wonderful camera angles, great lighting, great venue, commentary, replays. I don't know how they pulled that off, but I was like, wow.
Yeah, they do. You know, they do. You know, we just had a film session. A couple of my Empire teammates and I, who made US, and we're just watching the what are we watching? The Asia Cup, and you know, they didn't have nets. And I was like, holy shit, how are they playing without nets? Like, the ball's going to go everywhere. They probably had 30 people surrounding that court in orange vests just to protect the ball.
Being the net. Wow.
You know what I mean? And the stands were full. Flags, horns, like signs, everything. It was awesome to watch. It's like, they get it. Here, though, it's a little different. Like, Madison Square Garden, you know, we're going to have some American fans in there, a lot of family, but like, the majority of it, I think, are going to be from other countries, and that to me is a little sad.
You know, I hope there's pictures of it.
They're pumping it up. I'm seeing pictures of, you know, a huge cloth dodgeball inside the Madison Square Garden, and the big poster saying, you know, big light up sign in the marquee, Madison Square Garden, Dodgeball World Cup, blah blah blah. I don't think people are going to go in and buy a ticket to watch that. It's not off the street of New York, and I hate that, but it's just where we are right now.
Yeah, it's realistic thinking. So I think there was some confusion on that, and I'm kind of glad that you brought it up earlier, where the opening day or the round robins at a different venue, but the bracket play, I guess day 2. Let me slow down.
Yes.
How many days is it total?
It's 2 days.
2 days. Okay, so the elimination day is going to be at Madison Square Garden.
Right.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. Friday is the group play, which is going to be tough. And then Saturday is elimination at Madison Square Garden.
Now, is it double elimination or single?
Well, you do the group play, and then you'll play for elimination. So you play everybody in your group. It's us. It's US, Canada, Australia, Northern Ireland, and England in the group. So you'll play everybody in your group, and then it's play to lose, play to win in the Garden.
Wow.
I hate that it's in the Garden. I'm sorry, I probably shouldn't say that, but I hate that it's in the Garden. I love that dodgeball we played in that great place, but I think it's just too much. When it was announced it was going to be in New York, I think I was like the only person in the whole audience that was a little disappointed, even though I'm from New York. The other options were Australia and Austria. I would love to go to either one of those places. I've been in New York. I'm from here. But I thought it'd be in like Rutgers University, like a local college. Just go there, take it over, keep it simple, keep production good. Like I didn't want the whole hubbub, if you will, of Madison Square Garden. To say that it's there is great. That's awesome. But I think it's causing so much stress and organizational craziness that I think it's being a distraction more than a promotion.
I can kind of see that with the naysayers, if you will, saying, "Oh, they say it's at Madison Square Garden, but actually it's it's over here. What's the deal?" Because I remember there's a long thread about that. And as I was saying earlier, if I see a thread on Dodgeball Family that's like 20 comments or more, I try to stay as far away from it as possible without getting sucked in.
That's everyone.
I know, right? Well, we say we do, and then we get hopped in, and one GIF turns into like actual responses, and then I'm hooked. Yeah. So when you're saying it's causing stress, is it because of Is it causing stress?
I think it's just unnecessary pressure to make it a great event. Like it's going to be a great event. You have countries from around the world coming to the best city in the world to play the best game in the world, regardless of where it is. It could be played in Central freaking Park. It'd be amazing.
It's not going to lose its allure.
Like, I think that it's causing too much of a distraction. Like the same thing, like all the long threads and everything else. It's played here, and it's Hulu Theater, but like it's Madison Square Garden. Like Radiohead was just there last month. Like it's still awesome. It's a part of the Garden. The Garden has lots of gyms in it. It's huge. It's Penn Station. Right. So, but it is awesome to say like, yeah, I'll be playing at MSG. It's great, but I don't know. I guess I'd rather be in Australia.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think I get what you're saying. It's already a grand enough event.
It's not necessarily about where it's played, and I think that a lot of onus is being put on that. Like, who cares?
Right.
The court's the same, wherever you are. I can see where they're coming from. Like, it's on a grand scale. It's awesome, and I think that we could have played the whole weekend at Basketball City. I'm not in charge of those decisions. At the end of the day, the fact we're playing at MSG on Saturday, awesome. Like, my best friend, my wife, my kids will be there to watch me play in Madison Square Garden. That's pretty freaking awesome. I'm just saying, I think that shooting for the moon may have caused a little distraction on the whole thing.
Gotcha. So let's go back to, it's 2 days. So Team USA, you guys are going to have like almost no time to get in sync. And I think, was that what you said earlier about how it's the first day is going to be tough? Because you're going to learn as you play.
I mean, we have a tough group. I mean, England, reigning champs, they're the best team. They're the team I want to beat, only because they're the best. Love those guys. They're hilarious. They're awesome. I'm excited to see them, but I hope we beat them. Australia, they were really, really strong 2 years ago. Canada is coming up as a new team, but they're pretty good. We did a friendly, if you will, last month, and that was fun. It was good. So it's going to be tough. It's just going to be tough. It's a long day, and then when it's over, we wake up and we go to MSG a few hours later. So we don't have much time to get in sync. But we're talking right now when through Facebook and email. We're trying to get a gauge of who we are and what our strengths and weaknesses are and who can play what role. I'm happy that we have some returning players who actually were a part of it last year. We have some new guys who are super excited, and I think they're a little naive to the style, but I think they'll adjust pretty quickly. And like I said earlier, I think that our team this year is a lot better than the team we had 2 years ago, and a lot more prepared.
For sure. Do you want to talk about who's on the team?
Sure.
Don't have
from here.
I don't have the roster on me, so I said I don't have the roster on me. So if you kind of just want to break down just like quick who's who and from where.
Yeah, I think I can do kind of like regions. From upstate New York, we have myself, Pat Cushing, and Brett Granfers, all from New York Empire. From New York City, we have Lou Valez, who plays with GOAT. They came up a couple months ago and scrimmaged us both in cloth and rubber. That was fun. He's good too. He's been playing a lot with cloth. He's a good catcher and a good middle player. We also have Alfred Kwan, who's formerly from the city, now moved to the bustling city of Dayton, Ohio.
I've heard from him. I've heard of him during the recaps. I know he is.
Yeah, I think he's Arkham, and then Josh Ty as well. And I think Josh, I think he impressed me most. I went to the tryout in Maryland, and he throws his ball really well. He's got this like weird sidearm no look thing, and I'm excited to play with him.
If he can spin, if he can throw the foam ball, if he can, I can't. I'm all tongue tied.
It's cloth, Steve. It's cloth.
Exactly. See, I subconsciously don't want to say it. If he can throw the cloth ball, if he can throw the cloth ball the way I've seen him throw a rubber ball, he's going to be an asset. Like that sidearm throw is wicked.
He was kept catching me off guard. Like I was laughing, I was giggling because I was like so excited he was getting me out. Like this thing was awesome. But and then we move over a little bit. Our coach is AJ Fox, who's played for a while, and he was there with us in England. He's from St. Louis. Brett Badke from Maryland. And then I keep moving to the left. They have Alan Thomas. I'm excited. He's actually was nominated as co-captain with me.
I've never heard of that guy.
You know, me either.
Yeah.
I see his name a bunch, and we've been talking a bunch now that we're captains. But I'm excited to see what he has and bring to the table. Michael Koiv,
Koiv.
I think. Koiv. Yeah, Koiv. I think he played with Beaver Damnation a bit. Who else from out there? Brandon Cook coming back, the Hulk. It's exciting.
Yeah, I know those Oregon guys. Koiv, he's been with Oregon for quite a while. I think he was on Salvation, and then I don't know if he ever played on Damnation.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure he'll tell you, but
those teams just kind of blend together.
Yeah, he's on Rainbows now, and he's also the West Region Last Man Standing champ. So he'll be going against Glenn and Elijah Hashimoto and maybe it's Mike. I always like these two brothers. I'm always confusing, so I'm just gonna back out. He's going up against the best for showdown. Right. So I'm curious to see how he depths
one guy I really don't even know. Suchik from out there, Kyle Suchik. I think he's only been playing a few years. But yeah, like I said, I don't know who the selection committee is. I don't want their job. But I think they selected a pretty solid squad. There's some players on the mixed team too that I kind of wish were on our team, but I know that we want to represent in all three divisions, men's, women's, and mixed. So I think we have three solid squads. I think the women's team is a lot stronger than last year, and they're coming back with some good leadership and some good players. So like I said, we're hoping for a good showing in all three divisions.
Who do we have on women's team?
Michelle Radley. We have Susan Lee, who actually came to the New York tryout. She flew from San Francisco.
Wow.
To do that. Shelly's looking for a little domination. Kate Bergsgaard from Seattle.
Uh-huh.
Darcy, who's like just a beast. Jenny Hodge is on the team. I don't know if she's healthy or not. I heard she hurt her ankle. But just a solid squad of players, like girls that want to play, women that want to play. Kim Wilkie, I'm not sure how you say that.
I think it's Wilkie.
Wilkie, okay. Mackenzie Riley, she actually started with us on Empire, and she was in Minnesota for school, and she was in Boston. I think she plays for Anarchy. She's really solid. Samantha Girardi, just players. Like it's really good to have some hometown names and some players that represent us in all three divisions.
Awesome. And again, it's cloth all across the board.
Cloth.
It's 5 balls, nothing changes. It's all the same.
It's all the same.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So it might be a dumb question, but will this be streamed in any way? Like, can we watch on Facebook? Or
I'm sure it will be. I haven't gotten a schedule as far as that, but like in England, it was great. The announcers were awesome. They're hilarious. There was 2 courts. Both courts were streamed. Only court 1 had live commentators. So I'm not sure if it's going to be the same way. I'm not sure if they're going to have commentators for both courts or all courts or whatever, but I'm sure there will be something. All other cup games were streamed live. So
awesome. And I'm assuming we'll see that through like WDA's page or through USA Dodgeball or US Dodgeball, or how would we see that?
I'm sure all the above. I'm sure I'll share the hell out of it.
That'll also help, I'm sure. Very cool. I think that's answered most of my questions, at least the preliminary ones.
Yeah, and like I said, like I'm excited to talk about the recap and kind of what I see in New York, kind of behind the scenes and kind of the whole process from 2 years ago to after the second World Cup in a few weeks or whatever.
Yeah, for sure. Do they know where the location's going to be next year or next?
No, they announce it at the banquet/gala after everything on Saturday night. Like I said, in England, everybody was all dressed up and a couple drinks and some good food and everybody hanging out after the tournament. And they announced that it was between Australia, Austria, and New York. And everybody's on a dance floor shouting New York. And I'm sitting here like covering my mouth going, Australia.
Not New York, please.
Not New York. But everyone went nuts for New York. So I don't know if Australia and Austria are still in the running for 2 years from now. We'll see.
Gotcha. Yeah, there was a question that Orlando Hoikachia, we don't know how to pronounce his last name, but we call him Hooch. He's here in Phoenix. And his question was, is any plan for changing the location of the tournament so countries don't always have to travel to the U.S.? And I think that was just an example of how, without putting anybody down, like how ignorant we are to it. Like, but I didn't know it was every 2 years. For some reason, I just mixed up last year in 2016. And so the fact that it's revolving countries, we should answer his question. And be curious to see where it ends up for 2020. Yeah.
I'm excited. Like I said, I wish, I love that it's in New York and my family can come and be a part of it with me. But at the same time, it'd be a lot easier if I was just on a plane and just flew somewhere and just played dodgeball.
Yeah, I don't want to go back into it too much, but I can definitely feel and understand the added pressure of it being in at home, and dang, it would have been really cool to go to Australia and just not to worry about everything. But you got 2 years from now, you never know. Still gonna avoid the last hurrah idea, so again, just keep hacking away. I did want to ask, and I think we kind of covered this though, but just to make sure, Alan had asked, how has working with the WDA been? Are there any other organizations behind the DW or DWC? And who runs the WDA, and what other major events go on each year under their banner? So DWC, World Dodgeball Championship, is that what that is?
Yeah, Dodgeball World Cup.
Dodgeball World, so yeah, DWC. Okay, Dodgeball World Cup.
Dude, math and English now. Come on.
Hey, come on. Falling apart.
Long day. Yeah, any other organization behind it? I don't think so, but they're affiliated with the IOC and the other a lot of other world game things to get noticed for Olympics. Yeah, kind of like they're affiliated with anti-doping agencies. Like they're just doing the steps necessary to be noticed by the people who can get us into the Olympics.
Man, doping in dodgeball. I wonder if that's even a thing.
If it is, and you can look it up in the next week, you let me know, please.
Yeah, no, I just wonder, because I take pre-workout when I play. That's not doping, but.
Well, it depends on what your pre-workout is, Steve.
Yeah,
it might.
I'm just going to withdraw that comment. But yeah, that I guess that speaks to the level of professionalism. Like it's factoring in.
Else. And it's just they really are, just taking care of everything now and setting things up how they should be. The pool play draw was filmed with elementary kids running up and picking a dodgeball, and the number under the dodgeball was affiliated with a team in a pool, and that's how the pools were picked. Like it's just super, and I respect it, and that's what it has to be. It can't be, just a bunch of guys hanging out in a warehouse saying, "Yeah, let's have England play Malaysia because that game was awesome," and then England, whatever. It was cool, even though there's been the black eye. This whole thing is the Madison Square Garden thing. Like even though that is kind of been a mix up, they're handling it, and I'm sure they did everything they could to figure it out. I've heard that they had a huge sponsor that just dropped out in the last second. And I'm sure that Madison Square Garden is not cheap. But they handle everything with professionalism for the sport and for the players. The tournaments that they have, other than World Cup, is they hold continent cups. They have 6 continents involved in this World Cup. So they have the Africa Cup, the Asia Cup, like all these things, the European Championships, like their hand is in all that stuff. Like I said, they're a huge umbrella of all this. Like US Dodgeball is nothing. They're just
a small
answering emails from WDA saying, do this, do that, be there, be here. Okay. And that's it. So yeah, they do things throughout the 2 years in between to make the World Cup the best that it could be.
Awesome. Well, very cool, man. Well, I'm excited. Again, just when we last spoke back in November, I was like, oh man, that's so far from now. I've got plenty of time to like research and ask questions. And next thing you know, it's like, oh crap, that's next week. I've got drill that weekend, so we have to record now. I definitely appreciate you hopping on last minute and being willing, as always, man, to talk dodgeball with me. I've taken you up on that offer twice now, so I appreciate it.
Anytime, you know that. And if anybody has any questions about WDA or Team US, like just hit me up on Facebook or email or give me a call, stop over. I don't care. Always happy to talk dodgeball and always happy to answer questions and maybe even clear up some confusion.
For sure. And, on that note, man, I'm really excited to talk about the recap. So I'm not going to say, like, try to remember what happened. I'm just going to wish you best of luck, represent U.S., kick some ass.
Yeah.
And
you know I will, the best I can. And, yeah, I'm excited to talk to you again.
Cool, man. All right, dude. Well, we'll just end it there and we'll to be continued. But have a good rest of your night, and we'll talk to you soon, man.
I appreciate it, Steve. Thanks a lot, man.
All right, take care, man.
Bye.
So that was a quick pre-cap of the World Dodgeball Association Dodgeball World Championship that will be taking place this weekend. And I definitely wish Team USA, the men's, mixed, and women's teams, respectively, the best of luck, and hope that they represent us well. Just dominate. Just please, just destroy everybody. America. Rob, thank you so much for hopping on and doing so last minute, but also being willing to help shed more light to this event and some of the background behind it with me. It was pretty cool to be able to touch base again after my second episode with you on, where we barely discussed this, barely touched the subject a little bit, but then here we are actually one weekend in advance from this actually happening. So it's great to be able to catch up with you, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what I can of the stream games that weekend. I also look forward to recapping the event with you and some of the other members of Team USA as well. So again, just best of luck to you, and just do well. For everyone else, as mentioned in the thread, we'll be discussing the difference between the WDBA and the WDA in a later episode. And if you could tell, there's some issues that we kind of danced around because we didn't really want to make that the focus of this particular episode. This is all about this coming weekend and just making sure that we're aware of what's going on and we have a better idea of what's taking place and the who's who and the what's what. However, if you have any questions on that episode, please feel free to post them or forward them to me in any which way you see fit, and we'll be happy to discuss them as a whole in a separate episode again. Till then, everyone, have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll catch you next time. I'm watching a kid die on the slip and slide. Oh no. Oh, rest in peace. Oh man, I've been there. Oh, ooh, yep, he's done. God, whoever did slip and slide's the devil. Oh, there's 2 minutes of this. Oh man, sign me up. Oh, I'm recording. Uh-oh.